We're with John Whitfield. John is a personal injury attorney in Nashville, and he's agreed to answer a bunch of online questions that were related to motorcycle accidents. There's 4 or 5 of them that were actually asked. With that said, John, let's go into the first question. The first question was from Cliff. Cliff says, I was riding my bike last week when I was rear-ended by a car. Luckily, I only had some scratches and bruises, but my bike has a lot of damage. The driver that hit me said it wasn't their fault because I stopped abruptly. Is this true?
Well, thanks, Cliff, for the question. And anybody watching this can tell that by what I'm wearing today, I'm in a motorcycle club and I know how to ride. I've been riding for many years. Getting hit from behind happens quite often, especially with motorcycles. What I have learned is that the general public, in many instances, really doesn't pay attention to motorcycles. They know they're out there, they see them, but they don't really pay attention to them like they should. And as a result, when you get on a bike, you have a disadvantage because the general public in cars don't pay attention to you, or they think you're on a bike and they can get around you, or you can get around them, and they don't really watch bikes like they should. When you get hit in the rear, 9 times out of 10, it's the responsibility of the person that hits you. In every state, just about every state in the country, there's an obligation that if you're on a motorcycle, or if you're in a car, you're an 18-wheeler or any type of vehicle, you've got the obligation to look ahead, make sure you know what's ahead, and account for the people that are in front of you. So to answer your question, I think more often than not, it's not going to be your fault if you get hit from behind. But every fact is different. Every fact situation is different and fact specific, and that can change. But for the most part, it's going to be the responsibility of the person that hits you in the rear and not you.
Okay. Next question was from Taylor. Taylor says, I was in a motorcycle accident 2 months ago. I sustained a concussion among other injuries, but the person that hit me said they're not liable for injuries because I am assuming risk by riding a motorcycle. Don't motorcycles have the same rights as other motorists?
Well, absolutely. Motorcyclists are no different than anybody in any other vehicle. Just because you're on a bike, you have every right that's afforded you under the law of every state and even the Constitution. So just because you are engaging in a very dangerous activity, which motorcycle riding is, doesn't lessen the laws in any state. So if you're involved in a motorcycle accident, just because you're riding a bike, that has no effect at all as to whether or not you should receive compensation. You are entitled to compensation just like anybody else is.
Okay, next question was from John. How does wearing or not wearing a helmet affect any motorcycle accident claims in Tennessee?
Well, thanks, John, and that's an interesting question too. And again, I'm in a motorcycle club, and I understand the culture, and a lot of guys in motorcycle clubs don't like to wear helmets. So they like to feel the wind in their hair and the whole thing, and I get that. But I think at the end of the day, it's a dangerous activity to not wear a helmet. Everybody should wear a helmet because riding a motorcycle, again, is a dangerous activity. And if you go down, your chances of surviving a motorcycle accident, if you have a helmet, are increased 100-fold. So it's very important to do that. Tennessee, there is a requirement that you wear a helmet. In Kentucky, for example, there is no requirement, and different states have different requirements about that. But rest assured, if you're in a motorcycle accident, the insurance company will bring up the fact that you're not wearing a helmet because they will say that increases your damage, irrespective of what the facts are. It's a good idea to wear a helmet. To answer your question, if you don't wear a helmet, that's a factor in how insurance companies evaluate the case.
Okay, and the final question we had was from Cory. And Cory says, I'm recovering from a motorcycle accident I was in several months ago. I want to file a lawsuit against the driver who hit me, but I'm worried I won't be able to get compensation because most people are biased against most motorcycle accident riders. Can I still get compensation?
Again, I run into that a lot, and I hear that there's a bias towards motorcycle riders, more people in motorcycle clubs, and things of that nature. But my experience, I've been doing this for almost 34 years now, so I'm somewhat the old guard. 9 times out of 10, if you have a case where you're on a motorcycle and you go down for whatever reason, I really haven't seen that juries across the country don't give adequate awards just because you're on a motorcycle or just because you happen to be involved in a motorcycle club. Again, every case is different. Every case is fact specific, but in a general sense, I don't see that bias. I really don't.
Okay, excellent. Well, if you have any other questions for John, post them in the comments section below the video, and he's agreed to answer your questions, whatever you post. So thanks for your time, John.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.